let me wipe you off. Let me wipe you off. Oh, it's a rubber band. I was like, what is that? Man, I had dozed off so hard. Hold on, give me a second. I don't even be on YouTube Studio no more. I be so busy. I have to get it together, Lord. Got to get it together. Okay. 53. Is that 54? Okay. And then I need to. Before I forget. Let me see if I got a thumbnail. Hold on. Let me, first of all, get my background. Number one, stop spamming the chat. Spamming the chat. Damn. Just trying to find the thumbnail for, do you want to know what is the most viewed video on YouTube? What is the most viewed video on YouTube? Take a guess. Just take a guess. What is, look, Trivia Tuesday. What is the most viewed video? Hold on. Let me see if I got the chat open. Let me see. Who has the answer? What is the most viewed video on YouTube? Not everybody speak at once. But I'm just curious to know who knows what is the most viewed video on YouTube. Let me see. I do random stuff. Hey, Patricia Mina. Hey, I was trying to get that right. Don't nobody know what's the most viewed video on YouTube? It's me. Anybody. What is the most viewed video on YouTube? Uh-oh. I forgot to change the title. Somebody know. If you type it in. It actually has the stamp on it. That's the crazy part. Like, it actually has most viewed video on YouTube. It has it. Like, That was because I was over there watching Jules, of course, and I think she had did like a little. Was that 55? Yes. Okay. Um, Hold on. Let me see if I can airdrop it to myself. I was watching Jules, and she was off. She had she had did this little segment with Sirius XM radio, and she had did that her version of this particular song. Now, of course, when you hear this song today, it's one of them songs where you're like, it makes your skin crawl because you've heard it so many times. But what I will say is, bye, have a good time. Thank you, Patricia Mina. I don't know how to say that. I would try Patricia Mina. Let me see if it's up. I got it. Most viewed. How many views? Bing bong. How many views does Baby Shark have? When I took this screenshot, at the time that I took this screenshot, and I believe, hold on, let me see, because iPhone, it'll give you your credentials. When did you take this screenshot? Hold on, put it down. I'll be holding it on. Let me go back to it. What I said, because I just airdropped it to myself. Hold on, let me go back and find it. Oh my goodness. I'm over here trying to figure out, did I just airdrop this to myself? I did. I don't see it. Hold on. Oh, she just disappeared. Oh, there it is. I took this March 23rd at 8:10 p.m. Tell me why Baby Shark has 16 billion views. That's because I be minding my business. And I was like, oh, because Jules was singing it. She was doing like her own little rendition of it, so to speak. And so I was like, out of mere curiosity, I was like, man, let me go see how many views Baby Shark have right now. Because I think the last time I probably looked it up a couple years ago, we were still in the billions, obviously. 16 billion? And it has it on there. It literally has it on there. It says most viewed on YouTube. I can believe it. 16 billion? I can guarantee you ain't nobody even coming close. But happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Let me check these stats out before she gets started, honey. 515,004. 50K.
Are on sale right now for 30 beef sticks for $36. These are the most delicious beef sticks on the market. There are tons of flavors and they're naturally fermented. This is my go-to protein snack. The quality of these are so good. So stock up while they're on sale. I'll drop a link below.
Make my skin crawl. Because everybody just kept having their own little version of it. There was just so many spin-offs of it, and I'm talking, it took off, and then it took off, and then it just never stopped taking off. Like, it just kept, and of course, you always have to like go back to the original. Ping pong. You have to go back to the original. Like, because all the, the spin-offs and the bootlegs, it just don't hit the same.
Hi, I'm Brett.
And I'm Jonathan.
This is Darla.
And this
Got it.
All right, you guys, happy Tuesday indeed. I really did have the best day ever yesterday. I mean, foremost, the news broke about the Freemason hit squad in France. Then we wrap up the episode yesterday and the internet explodes because the ATF in the Tyler Robinson case cannot connect the gun to him. Oh, okay, interesting. What does it all mean? You have a bunch of people racing. Ooh, could you imagine the PR cash they are spending right now racing to tell you this is a big nothing burger. Who cares if we can't connect the gun to the bullets?
What you mean? Who cares? That's your case. Or lack thereof. If you can't match the casing to the gun, who the hell do they think that we are? Who do they think that we are? What do you mean?
Okay,
Right.
we care, I care,
Right.
because we were right. And we wanted to make sure that we took the time to actually read through the court filing.
Hold on. Melissa said she can't hold it. Let me hold it. Melissa said hello. Bye. Okay, guys, I'm not muted. Thank you, Melissa, for saying something. I was just sitting here not saying nothing. Thank you, Melissa, for telling me that. Hold on, let me see. I cannot hear myself. That is, in fact, true.
Never ever sue the driver who crashed into you after a car accident. There's a better way to get compensated that's faster, easier, and could get you way more money without spending years in court or paying expensive lawyers up front. If you've been in a car accident,
Let me see. Yeah, shout out to Melissa for saying something. Shout out to Melissa for saying something. Man. Todo bien. Patricio Mina. Patricio Mina. I'm assuming that's how you say it, Patricio Mina. Hold on. Okay, the mute is muted, and now it's unmuted. Okay, I have my volume up, so I'm not necessarily sure why, but I have two, I got two people currently in the chat right now. I actually can't hear myself either. That's crazy. Hold on, let me see something real quick. Hold on, let me see something real quick, real fast. Okay, so I can hear myself. Yeah, I can hear myself on OBS. Man, shout out to Melissa for throwing me that alley-oop. Okay, I can hear you. I can hear over here. Let me see over here. Okay, so I can hear over here too. Man, shout out to Melissa for telling me that. exit out of that. I'm talking about. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna have to come out and come back in. Let's see. Man, shout out to Melissa for telling me that. Shout out to Melissa. Man. Let me. I'm just making sure, because that was ridiculous. I'm making sure the volume was working, because. Damn. Shout out to Melissa. I ain't even making no moderator. Damn. Hopefully Melissa come back. I'm like, Melissa need to be a moderator. For telling me that, she was like, oh, I can't hear you. Let me see if Melissa gonna swing back by. Okay, I can hear myself now. I can hear. Yeah, I can hear now. Dang. Where is Melissa? I had exited out so fast I ain't even making no moderator. I done lost Candace. Let me go back.
What would you tell a man who can scroll for hours but can't work for 10 minutes and hates himself for it every night?
I'd tell him his brain isn't broken. It's starving for dopamine and grabbing it wherever it can.
Court filings, and we're going to take you through them. And if I'm being honest, there is something that is buried in these filings that not even Tyler Robinson's defense team caught, and we did. And in my opinion, it is definitive proof that Tyler Robinson is a patsy. The feds are just putting this on him, and I do mean the FBI. From JFK to MLK, now to CJK, this is, in my opinion, an undeniable state killing. Welcome back to Candace.
I said that too. And Charlie Kirk had. We had MLK, he ended in K. JFK, he ended in K. And then I looked up Charlie Kirk initials.
Allow me to be the first to say it. If the gun does not fit, you must acquit. Okay? Now, before we address these court filings and take you through them line by line so you are educated, you can go out into the world, you can say, you read through them yourself, it's only 28 pages, and then you can look at the people that are trying to manipulate you and to lie to you about what's in the filings. I at first want to transport you back to the beginning because some time has passed.
Is Melissa in here? I was looking for Melissa because she had told me that my live stream was, she couldn't hear me. So I was trying to figure out if Melissa had came back in here. Melissa, if you come back in here, say something in the chat so I can make you a moderator. Thank you for telling me that. I really do appreciate it because the whole live stream would have just been muted. The whole live stream just would have been, I would have just been over here talking. Man, shout out to Melissa for saying something. I didn't even get to make a no moderator. I had just exited out of the stream so fast.
And the story that we were told has changed so many times that you actually have to go back to the beginning to fully comprehend how this case fell apart so quickly for Turning Point USA, for Erica Kirk, and what I think is fair to refer to as their federal accomplices, because that's what it looks like to me. Charlie Kirk was shot on September 10th, 12:23 p.m. In the afternoon, Mountain Time. Now, a mere, 4 minutes after Charlie's bloodied body was carried to the SUV, Terrell Farnsworth, the man who runs the audio-visual company that Turning Point employs, they've used them for over a decade for their big events, and he never goes to these college events, but they were trying something different that day, he says. Like an assassination? I don't know. Anyways, Terrell Farnsworth raced down from his nearby grassy knoll where he was recording himself. And what does he do when he races down? He returns to the crime scene and violates it. More specifically, he grabs the very chair that Charlie Kirk had just been sitting in, the chair that Charlie was murdered in, and he takes it over back to the camera, and he stands on that chair, that bloody chair, and removes specifically the SD card from the camera that was behind Charlie's head. Okay? Now, later, Andrew Colvett is going to explain that Terrell was acting heroically because he was afraid that students were going to steal stuff from the table. There were people that were grabbing hats, and Terrell thought, let me spring into action and rescue this SD card. Yeah, we know Andrew Colvett's lying because Terrell did not take the expensive camera. If you were afraid about things being stolen that were of value, you wouldn't remove the SD card and then leave the expensive camera on the table. The SD card is $15, okay? The camera's pretty expensive. Terrell Farnsworth seemed to be moving with precision as if he were acting on some sort of instruction, am I right? But to what end, I wondered. Why that camera? Why specifically the one behind Charlie's head in particular? And because I was wondering, I decided on September 17th, exactly 1 week after Charlie's assassination, to reach out to him. I called him. And he was exceedingly nervous. He stammered through a great many nonsensible excuses. I did it to protect Erica, he said. I wanted to secure the footage for Erica so that she wouldn't have to see the footage of Charlie being shot in 4K. Okay, clocked you on another lie. Because that was already a foregone conclusion. The entire world had just witnessed Charlie Kirk bleeding out. Okay, you can't save Erica from the internet already circulating these clips to the tune of billions of people who watched it worldwide. More crucially, if he was actually worried about Erica seeing the footage, common sense to me says that he would have grabbed the camera that was like, I don't know, a yardstick away from Charlie's face. Oh, yeah, that camera that we've circled right here. That would have grabbed the action. That would have been the real up-close shot of Charlie bleeding out.
Still ain't seen that.
Here's the reality. Your college degree took 4 years and $100,000. AI skills, 28 days and $20. Guess which one you're...
So he lied.
To your face?
The camera from behind, making matters worse, once I actually saw the footage, it had no blood. We revealed that on this show, so now you can think through that. He was telling me he was trying to save Erica from seeing her husband die, but yet this was the most mild shot of all. There was not a drop of blood on Charlie's back as he went down. So what exactly was it that Terrell was racing to hide? What they were hiding, and I'm going to speculate this boldly now, having read through these files and thought through everything that has happened, they were hiding was the fact that the bullet did not go through. It did not pierce through Charlie. I believe that that was supposed to remain a state secret. The public was never supposed to have that piece of information. I feel pretty certain about that because after being told that the .30-06 was fired from a rifle a mere 150 yards away into the most delicate human neck, the assumption, all of us made the assumption, actually we never even asked the question, our assumption was just that it had gone through, of course. And I believe that that is the true reason why they moved to pave over the scene so quickly, because that was supposed to be the narrative. We've got the gun, we're going to say it was .30-06, we're going to say it passed through, we collected the evidence, now it's paved through, nobody can look, it's gone. But something happened. There was a divine intervention. Terrell showed me the back footage 2 days later on September 19th because I kept pressing him. Why are you being so weird? Why are you acting so strange? Why are you giving me so many excuses? Why are you telling me you're scared to send the footage because Google might hack you? That's bizarre. Why are you telling me you don't know how to send footage? You run an audiovisual company. You should know how to send big files. And so he eventually just said, hey, I'll FaceTime you. I'll just FaceTime you. I'm not going to send you anything, but I'll FaceTime you. And on September 19th, he did that, and gratefully, I moved to record that FaceTime call because his energy made me uncomfortable. And later that day, I informed the public on my show that the bullet didn't go through. I said the oddest thing. It's like there was no blood in the back of Charlie. That's so strange. And this public revelation caused a mass internal panic at Turning Point USA. Do you want to know how I know that it caused panic? Because the very next day, on September 20th, Justin Strife was contacting my husband several times, asking him if I had recorded that FaceTime call with Terrell. It came across like an urgent matter. I was sitting in the living room. George came to me. He's like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but like Justin Strife is hitting me up. He's asking me if you recorded. What's he talking about? I said, what? Why does he care?
Right.
Why is this urgent? Why are they following up with you? What's up? And he's like, I don't know. What? And then I explained to him what happened. And I said, honey, don't answer the question. I find the question in and of itself to be weird. Why do they care if I recorded and have the back footage? And guess what? I found out why. I found out. Do you want to know why? They were feeling a bit of pressure. Who it was in particular that was placing pressure on Justin Strife and Frank Carney to determine whether or not I had recorded that back footage?
Erica Kirk.
The feds were.
Oh.
The FBI. The FBI was on the phone with Justin Strife, Frank Carney. They were apparently speaking to the feds that day about whether or not I had recorded the footage. Now, why do you think this information was so important to the FBI?
The narrative.
Why would the feds be concerned about whether or not I had the back footage? I'm recording. I'm screen recording a FaceTime call. They've got it in 4K.
Right.
They're not protecting Erica.
Right.
It's everywhere. Unbeknownst to me at that time, this was also the exact day of Charlie's private burial. And yet, this is what they were consumed with. Erica was highly concerned about the back footage as well. So much so that rather than attending exclusively to her husband's private funeral, okay, the higher priority for Erica on that day was to curate a response to the public regarding why the bullet had not gone through. I want to say that again, okay?
Yeah.
Responding to my episode, where I simply told the public the truth, that there was no bullet that passed through, was deemed a higher priority than Erica being fully emotionally present at her husband's funeral. Her and Andrew were discussing this. They peeled off to the side, and they conferenced the surgeon on the day of Charlie's actual funeral.
Man of Steel.
They conferenced and called Dr. Lee Trotter. This is the single biggest lie that Erica Kirk would later tell me. She would insist to my face, and I did not believe her for 1 second, and I politely pushed back, that Andrew went rogue that day, that the surgeon went rogue too. The two of them had a discussion that she did not authorize, a discussion that she was not privy to. The surgeon violated HIPAA. Andrew violated her privacy, and after that discussion, Andrew went double rogue, and he tweeted about the nature of this discussion that he could not have had with the surgeon without Erica's permission. Erica lied.
To your face.
Erica and Andrew colluded on how to message to the public about this little fact that was never meant to be known to us. Dr. Lee Trotter did not violate HIPAA. In fact, he could sue her for defamation, in my personal opinion. She was the one that was on the phone with Andrew, and they were asking the doctor what they could tell the public, and it was Erica Kirk that said that Charlie ate healthy, and she bet he had a neck like Superman.
Do you need a loan for your business? Well, if you've been around for over a year, I'm about to show you how to...
Pretty obvious, if we just pause and think about it. It was pretty girly and emotional. Man of Steel, he just eats healthy. That's not how serious trauma surgeons communicate, okay? It's just not. But the crucial point of Andrew's tweet that people are forgetting, and why I'm taking you back through this as before we get into these filings, is that on that day, as they were freaking out, feds calling me, my husband, feds calling Turning Point USA, Turning Point USA putting pressure on me, my husband, Erica and Andrew on the side, trying to figure out how to message. The crucial part is that then when they did deliver this information to the public, they declared that the coroner found the bullet. The bullet, not a fragment, the bullet. On September 20th, after the autopsy and the death certificate were issued, they communicated to the public the bullet was found beneath Charlie's skin, okay? We can read that statement together. They want you to forget these things. Andrew tweeted, I want to address some of the discussion about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into most of this kind of online chatter, and I apologize if this is somewhat graphic, but in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably another miracle, and I want people to know. I just spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital. He said the bullet absolutely should have gone through, which is very, very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken a moose or two down, an elk, etc. But it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. I mentioned to his doctor that there were dozens of staff, students, and special guests standing directly behind Charlie on the other side of the tent, and he replied, quote, "It was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed. His bone was so healthy, and the density was so impressive that he's like the Man of Steel. It should have just gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him, too." End quote. Andrew then concludes, in the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable. Miraculous. Foremost, why would a coroner be finding anything? A coroner is not even a health buffet. They just say this person's dead. Park that aside. It's Andrew Colbert. Let's assume they met the medical examiner. Again, the bullet was found beneath the skin, not a fragment.
Right.
It was recovered, and that was similarly echoed to me in the days that followed. But 3 days beyond that, I had a long conversation with Andrew, and I was very grateful for it. On September 23rd, he provided me with even more details about that Man of Steel tweet, because I was going, it doesn't sound real, Andrew. And I took meticulous notes, and I would be willing to testify under oath regarding what I was told from Andrew Colbert. He told me that the bullet traveled, and I'm going to show you this, so in case you're like me and you don't know about the vertebrae in the neck, that it traveled from C2, okay, think about the entry point, it's almost upward, down to C6, and then it moved downward into Charlie's thorax, where it was shattered. Okay. Another adjustment, okay? Another adjustment, because first they found the bullet beneath his skin. Now suddenly the bullet is fragmented in his thorax. And then we're going to get Brian Harpole, who's going to say, no, it fragmented in his stomach, thorax, whatever he says. These are very important and relevant changes that they are making because they're realizing that their story is not going to work.
Right.
So why that change? Why did we go from, we got the bullet, coroner got the bullet, to actually, you know what, it's ricocheting and it shattered? I'll give you my best guess. Because at some point the feds realized that their initial plan was completely ruined by the back footage, that they had to pivot. And at first they pivoted, but it was sloppy. They had 24 hours. Andrew tweeted that they found the bullet, but the reality is, as my source who's close to the Robinson family told me, that family heirloom gun takes special bullets. In fact, I was told that there was no way the prosecution was going to be able to connect the bullets to that gun. I think the feds then realized that. First we got the bullet, then they quickly pivoted. There's no bullet, it's just a small fragment. Problem solved. Now we can have ATF say that it's inconclusive later down the line. There's another part of this that everyone is missing, and I want to stress it to you. They cannot even prove that the gun was fired. Say it again. They cannot even prove that the gun was fired. Why is the media not telling you this?
Right.
Have you guys realized that there's a big piece missing from the evidence? Where is the basic GSR test? Okay? Testing to see if you fired a weapon. It's a test that, like, you put some stuff on, then it turns your hands, purple or bluish purple under the light. GSR test. Did they conduct that 33 hours later to see if Tyler Robinson had fired a weapon? Right? They could have actually brought in a bomb dog for that. No, they didn't do that. You remember, the bomb dogs went into the field where the weapon was found. I broke that story, and they didn't find the weapon. That is literally impossible. It's literally impossible.
Because that's their job.
There's no one that will get up there and tell you anything different, that a trained bomb dog,
that's their only
they are
job.
taken into a field where there's a gun that is sitting that was recently fired, they will find the dog. They will find the gun.
Right.
But apparently the bomb dogs missed it.
Right.
And the gun that was eventually found, which my sources say they are convinced that the feds planted it when they arrived.
I'm not 20 anymore, I'm 47. I do articulation training for 9 minutes a day.
I knew I wasn't tripping. Oh, I know I'm not tripping. Not muted. Muted is crazy. Muted is crazy. I can't hear you. Man, I'm so blessed to have people like Melissa in my life. Did she come back? Just forgot to make her a moderator. People like that you need. Josh is live right now. Well, he got a live premiere. 19K. Man, I ain't seen Josh in about a month. Oh my goodness, now that I think about it. I haven't seen Josh in about a month. Now that I think about it, I have not seen the Josh in about a month.
Thoughts come out clean, and my boss asks me for advice.
Was not fired on September 10th, okay? Or they knew Tyler Robinson fired it. They would have taken the bomb dogs, had him smell the dog, they would have had him smell the weapon, find the weapon, smell the person, and tell you that it's connected to him. The canines would have done that for them. They didn't do that. And the last thing I want to reiterate to you before we get into what these filings reveal is that there are a bunch of frauds right now that are telling you that they found Tyler Robinson's DNA on the gun, okay? What they keep conveniently leaving out is that they found a total of 6 sets of prints on the gun. It is not shocking that Tyler Robinson's gun had Tyler Robinson's prints on it.
Right.
That's not shocking. The question is, who took Robinson's gun and placed it into the field unfired? That's where we are at in this case. And so the big news yesterday was that the bullet, which has now been conveniently reduced to a fragment very quickly over a couple of days, has come back, and the ATF has concluded that they can't connect it to the gun. It's inconclusive. Now the prosecution wants the corrupt FBI to conduct their own analysis. And I'm going to tell you what is very wrong with that, because I think it's pretty clear that the feds are working with Turning Point USA, and all evidence points to the fact that the feds are dirty in this case. Like I said, I have spoken to SWAT, local police departments, sources close to the accused, UVU students, people that work at UVU. Everyone is saying the feds are a part of a broader conspiracy, and based on the evidence I am seeing and based on these filings, which I am about to show you, I believe that. So while the people who are racing to delude you about this case are making tons of claims about the recent filing, we're going to actually take you through it. Tyler Robinson's team in this filing, just what we're looking at is they are asking for an extension, and we are going to show you the extraordinarily valid reasons as to why. At first, just want to say off top of this, I think we can all readily dismiss the repeated lie that Tyler Robinson confessed to his crime, right? He's asking for a continuation. A man who confesses a crime and says I did it does not request a continuation so that he can gather evidence. If he was admittedly guilty and so overwhelmingly guilty that he turned himself in and said I did it, he would not be trying to win the case, okay? And why are they requesting the continuation? They make it very clear because discovery is missing. Discovery in a case is when you accuse me of something and then I say, okay, I want to see your text messages from September 10th. I want to see your text messages from September 8th, and you have to give them to me, right? I'm the defense. You got to give those to me. They're saying that they can't prepare a defense until they receive all of the items that they have requested from the prosecution. They haven't delivered them to them, okay? Requesting a continuation is so beyond standard in proceedings. I have filed for them myself. I filed for them in the Brigitte case. It is so beyond standard that you should be offended to any person who is trying to make that scandalous or purport otherwise. So we're going to go through this filing together. It's essentially 28 pages plus a ton of exhibits. Let's look at this document, okay? And Sky, I'm going to pull it up on my page just so I don't have to squint and read, since I feel like my eyesight is getting worse and worse with every child. Okay, so we're starting up here with the introduction, and I've highlighted the portions that you can take a look to. We learn that Mr. Robinson seeks to continue the preliminary hearing, which is scheduled for May 2026, to a setting that allows him and his counsel to receive discovery that is necessary for preliminary hearing preparations. Okay. Then it is going to state that on March 12th, 2026, the counsel for the parties, they met and they conferred regarding discovery issues and the evidence the state intends to present at the preliminary hearing. Based upon the state's representations at this meeting, the state intends to present these discrete buckets of evidence through 3 identified law enforcement witnesses. So they're saying, we just met on the 12th, and they told us that they're going to, when we have this preliminary hearing, they're going to bring 3 witnesses to the stand. This is going to include conclusory forensic DNA and ballistics reports authored by the FBI and the ATF, phone and social media data, testimony by law enforcement officials about the crime scene and search locations, and testimony by Mr. Robinson's parents and roommate. Okay? Conclusory is the key word here. I'm going to explain to you why this is exceedingly problematic, that they are going to present conclusory evidence that they have not actually given beyond the conclusions to the defense. And to the point about Mr. Robinson's parents and roommates that are going to be, that they want to bring up, that means nothing. You can bring up whoever you want to the stand. And because Matt Robinson says, this is my gun that I gave to Tyler Robinson, it is common sense to me that they would put him on the stand and they say, do you recognize this gun? Yes, I recognize the gun. Can't lie about that. Is this your gun? Yes. You're going to contain your questions just to get him to identify that that's his son, and that is his gun, and that he gave his gun to his son. That's my guess. And they're going to try to scandalize that. Some people are saying, he's testifying for the prosecution. No, he's not testifying for the prosecution. They are naming him as a witness, and he is going to be forced to answer questions under oath, likely, I would assume, about the gun. Okay? So then they go on and they say the state intends to offer a significant amount of hearsay identified in the Utah Rule of Evidence at a preliminary hearing, namely, they're just going to get up there and they are going to tell you that they've made these conclusions, but we can't tell you how they got to these conclusions. That's what they're saying. They're telling us that this is inconclusive and it's not attached to the gun, but we want to see how they arrived at that, because that could be very important for us, okay? Okay, we can scroll down here. And this is where it is wild, and this reveals the prosecution strategy. I want you to go back into your mind when Erica got up and she did this news clip, and she was like, I would like this to be rushed. Like, I want the case to go by quickly. I want to, write for this to go. And we were like, what's that about? And I will also remind you that when I sat down with Erica, I explained to you that her lawyer told me that right now we don't have any evidence. The way this works is that now the state's going to go out and they're going to find the evidence, and then once we have the evidence, they're going to give it to Tyler Robinson's team, who's going to be able to draft some sort of a response to the evidence, and then we have the preliminary hearing, okay? So that is what they're going to say. They're going to tell you what Erica's team did, what the state did. In total...
Turns out you should never sue the driver who crashed into you after a car accident. There's a much better way you could get paid a way bigger check without suing.
They, and they're referring to Tyler Robinson's team, has received approximately 20,000 files, excluding digital electronic discovery, which was provided on a hard drive during that meeting on March 12th. So when they were conferring, then suddenly they gave them another drive, okay? Now, initially, they had files, which were 61,500 pages in total before that March 12th meeting. They had audio files that were 31 hours in total length. So they're going through all that. They were also given more than 5,000 video files containing more than 700 hours of video until March 12th when they conferred. And then they handed them this little drive. And guess how much was on that drive on March 12th? It amounts to approximately 12 terabytes of data and over 600,000 files. So they have less than 2 months to go. They had all of this time since September to deliver them all of this data for them to go through, and they waited until March 12th, and they handed them a drive, and they said, here are 600,000 files. See you in May. That is a strategy, okay? That is a dump when you know they are not going to be able to go through everything and see what you have. You're giving them so much. And it is a strategy people do. When people are subpoenaed and they fight the subpoena, like, oh, I get your text messages for 2 years. Remember when Blake Lively requested that for me? And I'm like, I don't want to give it. And then the judge says, no, you have to give it. They will then give them more than they even asked for. I'll give you every email, text, because somewhere buried in there is what you need, but you're not going to have the time to find that. You don't have the force behind you. This is going to take 800 paralegals working for 800 hours each in order for you to go through all of this. That is what this looks like to me. Why are you waiting until March 12th? This is a very bad strategy. I mean, I'm actually going to say it's an immoral strategy to dump this on them. Okay? 600,000 files after first giving them 20,000 files until March 12th. Stunning. On that bottom paragraph, which we have highlighted orange, it says, what is known at present is that Mr. Robinson has not received the forensic case files and the data necessary to investigate, through the use of qualified experts, the scientific reports that the state intends to introduce at the preliminary hearing. Mr. Robinson has diligently requested the disclosure of forensic case files and the data underlying the laboratory reports in an effort to get these materials to the defense. And he's been doing that since September 30th, okay? So they've just been giving him conclusions, and they were like, how'd you get here? We have this text message. Okay, can we see how you got those? Can we see the dates? Can we see the chain of custody? Can we see how you pulled it off? Who signed off on it? Nope. They're just giving them conclusions, and what they're saying is, we can't even determine if they're fake or they're real until you give us what we are asking for. We need to get in the weeds. We need to see effectively the metadata. Who pulled this information off the server? We want to see the chain of custody. How did this happen? How did this file get created? You can't just send us a PDF conclusion. That is what is in these documents. They are playing games. They're playing games. It's very obvious. We're going to keep going here. It then tells us that during the hearing, which was held back in January, the counsel for the parties discussed the status of the lab files, and UCAO, that's the Utah County Attorney's Office, informed the defense that they, too, were awaiting the files. And we memorialized that for the state in our February 3rd letter, that we still don't have these lab files. We're looking for, how they are saying they got the DNA. They're just telling us conclusions, and we can't prod narratives, right? And so that's a problem. They're not being allowed to do that. And then, if we scroll down to the bottom of page 6, it's telling us, like, hey, there has not been a prior request to continue the preliminary hearing. And I'd like to remind you that back in December 11th, we raised this issue with you. When you set this date for the week of May 18th for the state, we said in response, this isn't going to work. We need to make sure we have the stuff that we need. And what did the court tell us? The court said, and they're quoting, I do not find there's any prejudice in setting a date for a preliminary hearing. It's not set in stone. It certainly can be moved. This is the judge. I recognize the parties have a lot of obligations, but I also want to recognize the importance of this case moving forward. And if nothing more, then this is just a goal for a preliminary hearing. If it needs to be changed, the court understands that. So the court already told Tyler Robinson's team, we just want to get something on the calendar. We understand it might need to be moved, and it might not be practical. So they're like, hey, can you honor that now that we have the proof that this is not practical? You can't just drop 600,000 files on us on March 12th and tell us to be ready by May 18th. Does everybody agree with that? I think we all agree with that. We're all sane people. We agree with that. Okay? Now, if we scroll down, then they're going to kind of make more arguments, and they're going to bring in some jurisprudence, meaning like past cases that demonstrate the points that they're making and why this is like totally par for the course. And they should just be like, yeah, of course you get a continuance. You got 600,000 documents, but you still have to do this. You have to point to cases and proof of why this is okay. And Skylar on page 11 now, and they write here, there are materials that are known to the police prosecution team that have not yet been provided to us. While it is anticipated that discovery in this case will be ongoing throughout the duration, the defense is seeking the materials that are known to be reasonably available to the prosecution, materials that are known to be in possession of law enforcement partners identified by the state. Both the UCAO and Mr. Robinson continue to await a vast amount of information relevant to a review of the FBI's and the ATF's DNA analysis, including, but not limited to, validation studies, crucial electronic data files, the reports, the case file for comparative bullet analysis, the bullet lead analysis that is still in progress at the FBI, and the case file and protocols for a comparative bullet analysis that's been conducted by the ATF. Okay, now, here is where it is going to be very interesting, okay? And I want to see, is this the page where we highlighted, let me just go make sure I found this, where we get into the ATF. Actually, let's go to bottom of page 18. This is an example of how much they're just giving like absolute BS, and they're trying to run the clock, essentially. Tells us that, for instance, on March 12th, that's when they had that meeting to confer, the state indicated that it intended to introduce the autopsy report into evidence without any supporting expert testimony. So that was going to be a part of what they were going to present on the stand if this went through in May. The autopsy report, which was completed on September 16th, 2025, was not given to the defense until November 13th, 2025. It gets worse. So a 2-month delay to give them something they already had done. The autopsy photographs, which were taken on September 10th, 2025, were not produced to the defense until March 18th, 2026. They just gave them the photographs. Why? Make that make sense outside of trying to run the clock down so somebody cannot get another expert to look at everything and prepare arguments. Why would you have something available to you on September 16th and not hand it to them until March 18th? There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that outside of you do not believe you can win this case honestly. This is legal maneuvering. You're hoping a judge is going to be corrupt, is going to hear the cry of this widow. Please, I just want the case to be fast, she said on Fox News. This is hard. I'm asking them to move along fast. The widow wants to put this chapter behind her. Judge? Normally the public doesn't read through legal files, so they're not going to see the 600,000 documents that we just dropped on them. They're not going to see that, like, okay, we haven't even given them the autopsy report and stuff until, like, now it's March. The widow.
These viral Paleo Deli beef sticks are on sale right now for 30 beef sticks for $36. These are the most delicious beef sticks on the market.
She's grieving. She's asking, can't we at least do that for her? She doesn't have her husband. That is their manipulative strategy, and you can see it in these documents, okay? And then it says even more substantial discovery issues exist with respect to the DNA and the ballistics report that the state has indicated it intends to offer at the preliminary hearing without any supporting expert testimony. The summary, again, just summary, DNA reports produced by the FBI and the ATF indicate that both agencies recovered minute quantities of DNA on various items of evidence, which the reports opine consist of mixtures of up to 5 or more individuals. There's 5 individuals that are on this, and yet all I have is an analysis. A conclusion. Can I get more? Can I understand more about these 5 sets of prints that are on this? Who are these people? Do we know these people? No, they're not giving them anything. They're not giving them anything but the conclusion. And they're expecting them to be able to present this during the preliminary hearing. Now, this next portion regarding the firearm evidence is an absolute bomb. In fact, I might just pivot to break because I think we're running out of time. Pivot to break, Dom, and then when we get back, I'm going to explain this, why not even Tyler Robinson's defense caught what was in this paragraph. So we'll be right back after a quick break. All right, you guys, thanks to you, last year Preborn helped rescue over 80,000 babies, and today you can help save even more. Every single day, thousands of women hear the same devastating lie, that abortion is their only option, that they're alone, and that there's no hope. But everything changes the moment a mother in crisis walks into a Preborn network clinic and sees her baby on an ultrasound and hears her baby's heartbeat for the first time. That one moment doubles her chance of choosing life, because she realizes that there is an actual life growing inside of her, and it's not a problem that needs to be solved, but a life that needs to be protected. So let's be there for her in that beautiful moment with love, prayer, and support. For just $28, you can provide 1 life-saving ultrasound, and $140 provides 5 ultrasounds and 5 chances for life. This year, let's make it the biggest baby-saving year in history. Take a stand, be bold, speak for those who can't speak for themselves. donate, dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby, or visit preborn.com/Candace. Again, that's preborn.com/Candace. I also want to tell you guys about Kickoff, because right now tax refunds are hitting bank accounts. But before it's gone, there's a fast, simple way to turn that money into something that actually grows your financial future. That's where Kickoff comes in. Kickoff is the #1 credit building app in the App Store, and plans start at just $5 a month. There is no credit check, no hidden fees, and 0 interest. Users with credit scores under 600 see an average increase of 86 points just by making on-time payments. It's simple. You pay on time, credit bureau sees that positive behavior, and your score can go up fast. Plus, Kickoff even lets you build credit with rent that you are already paying, so every on-time rent payment gets reported to help boost your score. You can start building credit immediately for just $1 your first month, and then you can set up auto pay so that you never miss a payment and sign up in minutes right from your phone. Start building credit with Kickoff today and get your first month for as little as $1. That's 80% off the normal price when you go to getkickoff.com/Candace today. That's Kickoff, Kickoff without the C, getkickoff.com/Candace.
Must sign up via kickoff.com/Candace to activate offer. Offer applies to new Kickoff customers first month only, subject to approval. Offer subject to change. Average first-year credit score impact of plus 86 points between August 2024 and August 2025 for Kickoff credit account users who started with a score below 600, who paid on time, and who had no delinquencies or collections added to their credit profile during the period. Late payments may negatively impact your credit score. Individual results may vary.
I also want to tell you guys about Red Light Life, because we are seeing a massive rise in autoimmune issues, cancers, thyroid problems, hormone imbalances, and chronic fatigue. That's why the work of investigative journalist Jonathan Otto is so compelling. His research into red and near-infrared light therapy shows how wavelengths from 630 to 1,060 nanometers can boost cellular energy, reduce inflammation, and support your body's natural repair systems. The results are very impressive. Some reports show protocols becoming up to 70 times more effective, and 96% of women with enlarged thyroids returning to normal size in just weeks. There's also growing research showing powerful results in cancer treatment support using photodynamic therapy, but not all devices are the same. Red Life by Jonathan Otto uses 9 targeted clinical-grade wavelengths, which is far more advanced than most consumer options. It's also one of the most affordable long-term therapies available, with payment options that can save you thousands over time. To learn the exact protocols, go to myredlight.com for free training while it's still available, and use code Candace25 and you'll get 25% off singles, or Candace30 and you'll get 30% off bundles. Again, that's myredlight.com before it sells out.
I don't know for sure.
Here is actually the craziest part of the filing that I don't think anybody noticed. Okay, everybody's talking about the ATF. But the devil is always in the details. The feds are always in the details, okay?
Let me see. What
now, I'm going to read this.
Let's go.
Regarding the firearm evidence, the defense has been provided with an ATF summary. Again, just a summary report, which indicates that the ATF was unable to identify the bullet recovered at autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied to Mr. Robinson. Although the state has not indicated an intent to produce this report at the preliminary hearing, the defense may very well decide to offer the testimony of the ATF firearm analyst as exculpatory evidence. Okay, so they met, they conferred, and they're like, okay, we haven't even received, we got a summary that like this is not matching, but we want to see the whole report. We want to see how they got there, because the report will show us how they conducted this. We'll actually
again. I mean, they just. Let me think of a good analogy for it. I'm trying to think. I have to put it into analogy form so that I could, you know what I mean? Like a report. I mean a summary, not the report. A summary, not the report. A summary, not the report. What is that the same thing as? Oh, that's like Cliff Notes. Well, I mean, Cliff Notes really do be the summary, not the whole, you know. I'm trying to think. Let me get another one. I'm trying to think. For some reason, I had a receipt in my head. You know, like we have the receipt. You know, like when you buy something, you get the receipt. Technically that's a summary. It ain't no. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of an analogy as to how to. I'm gonna keep working on it.
See that bullet fragment? How big is? I don't know. We know nothing. And then Erica's team comes in. The state comes in. They're like, it doesn't matter. We're not even gonna bring up the ATF thing. So you have our word. So we're good. They're like,
wait, what?
Well, first of all, why aren't you bringing that up? And it's not about whether you're good. It's about whether we're good, because that's pretty exculpatory for us.
Right. That's the case.
If the gun does not fit, you must acquit. This is the purpose of a preliminary hearing, is to get a judge to just unilaterally dismiss something as an option. So what's up with that? Why are you not giving it? They're like, oh, because we're going to do some other testing down the line. Here's where it gets crucial. Pay attention. Look alive, okay?
Oh, she's so stupid. Look alive.
What would you tell a man who can scroll for hours but can't work for 10 minutes and hates himself for it every night?
It goes on and it says, in order to make this determination, it is necessary for the defense and its firearm expert to review the ATF case file and the protocols relating to this examination, which have not yet been provided. The state has also indicated that the FBI is in the process of conducting a second comparative bullet analysis as well as a bullet lead analysis, that these analyses are not yet complete. Okay, pay attention, Tyler Robinson's defense team. I'm about to help you out in a big way. They told you that, you conferred. They said, okay, don't worry, we got it. We got this. We're going to do the secondary thing with the feds. And like me, I'm nosy. I'm like, wait, what do you mean?
Right.
The ATF is...
Bitch, excuse me. Hold on, Candace. Just a second. I think I got it. Because what the FBI got to do with this? I'm just curious to know what. Hold on. Give me a second. Because you're telling me that the ATF, who was that, Arms Tactical and somebody else? Something, whatever, ATF has told you that, oh, these two don't match. But then now the state is like, oh, the FBI, they're going to do it again. They're going to do, they're going to do it again. What? I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. That's the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms.
That's what it was. What I said again? Is alcohol? Yeah, damn.
If they couldn't do it, what extra power does the FBI have to do it? If the firearm people can't do it, why is this going to the FBI? So I said, what is a comparative bullet lead analysis? What is that? I need to know things. I like to learn. And lo and behold, we find out that the CBLA, the compositional analysis, is a discontinued forensic technique that analyzed trace elements, copper, arsenic, in lead to link crime scene bullets to suspects. It was primarily used by the FBI from the 1980s until 2004, but it was then abandoned in 2005 due to flawed scientific, statistical, and interpretive validity. Wait, they discontinued this? Like 20 years ago, 21 years ago, because they said it was flawed? And sure enough, Skyler starts looking through and he's like, yeah, no, the innocents, like, people have been freed because of how flawed this was. They literally put the wrong people in prison using this technology until it became so obvious that nobody would even stand trial and back it anymore. So they just got rid of this analysis. It's been gone for 20 years. Wake up, Tyler Robinson's defense team. I know it's a lot going on, 600,000 files. This is them telling you they're going to make this bullet fit no matter what. The feds will do it. If ATF isn't going to be corrupt, we'll be corrupt. And they've been corrupt since the beginning of this. Look at this news clip explaining further why and how this technique that they're now going to employ got discredited historically and is no longer in use. Here are the reasons why it got discredited. Take a listen to this local Atlanta news clip.
Not Atlanta.
FBI agents swore by it in courtrooms across America for decades, a type of forensic science called bullet lead analysis.
This was used in thousands of cases and hundreds of trials, but the FBI stopped using it over flaws in the science. Now at least one man is free as another fights for his freedom. National investigative reporter Chris Nakamoto looks into the tainted testimony.
It was definitely a shock to the whole community.
In 1991, 45-year-old Norma Jean Yates was found inside this home, shot to death 7 times. The house set on fire.
She deserved better than that.
Her death, a defining event in the life of her husband, Jimmy Yates, because 6 years later, a jury convicted him of her murder. It's his first sit-down interview after being released in 2021.
Ooh.
Did you kill your wife?
No.
No.
I've maintained it all these years.
Police found a bullet in his vehicle, which they said matched the lead in bullets at the crime scene. That science the jury trusted when it ultimately convicted Yates, no longer used by the FBI. When a weapon is missing or a bullet too damaged, the FBI claimed at the time their science could match bullets to ammunition through the lead alone. Our national investigative team found the FBI admitted to using this science in 2,500 cases, and it was introduced in hundreds of trials across America. But in 2005, the FBI pulled the plug on this practice. Their admission, neither scientists nor bullet manufacturers are able to definitively attest to the significance of an association made between bullets in the course of a bullet lead examination.
So
they discontinued this because not even the scientists
or the manufacturers
or the bullet manufacturers would testify that that made any sense. Not even the scientists or the bullet manufacturers. We don't know how you're doing this. You're just saying that you have some special scientific technique that the scientists are saying is not so scientific, and the bullet manufacturers saying, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. And so they just quietly stopped doing that in 2005. But guess what, guys? Cash's boys are going to dust that off, pull it back, because ATF probably said, a little too obvious and corrupt for us.
A little too motherfucking obvious and corrupt. What? The fragments don't match, so we'll make it match. Now, if it don't match, it don't match. Like, it ain't nothing I could do. Ain't nothing you could do. Y'all probably should have thought of that. See, y'all wanted to rush this assassination. That's what it was. And y'all thought y'all had all y'all what is it? Dots, I's, and T's crossed. And look. See what I mean? Let me tell you something about that Charlie Kirk now. I ain't know him. I didn't know him. I still don't damn know his name now. But let me tell you something. Oh yeah. This is the kind of impact that you want to have. At least leave behind. This is the kind of impact that you want to leave behind. You know, when they'll assassinate you in broad daylight. And then they try to pin it on somebody and be like, oh yeah, he did it. And the way your destiny was set up, you know, God is like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna put Candace's ass on the desk.
Best we can do, like, you know, we're the Fed boys, love you, but can we give you an inconclusive?
No.
Can we just say inconclusive?
No.
Probably doesn't even match. Inconclusive is the best I can do as your homie.
Best I could do.
You guys are on your own if you're gonna do
y'all gotta figure
that out, corrupt, despite this history of the strategy being corrupt. Because scientists and you put a lot of people in jail wrongly.
Yeah.
And the feds are like, yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put somebody in jail wrongly.
Right.
So that's what we're doing. We need to bring back the technique that's been discontinued for 20 years.
Right.
Find your perfect tax expert. Whatever your tax situation might be.
Numbers is going crazy. We're up to 605,790.
Hand off your taxes to an expert who gets you. With TurboTax Expert Full Service.
Stop playing with her.
Did you know a new heating and AC system in the greater Atlanta metro area could cost you just $110 per month? Armado Heating and Air is making heating and AC system installations easier than ever across the great.
Speedy trial.
Incredible. Bombshell.
Boom.
Should be on the cover of every mainstream news reporting that the FBI is bringing back an already debunked technique so that they can give Erica the evidence she needs to connect this gun, which hasn't even been fired, to Tyler Robinson. Again, ignore the people that are telling you over and over again that his prints are on his gun. That's common sense, people. If somebody comes to my house and steals a gun, it's going to have me and George's prints on it and DNA on it because our prints carry oil and that's our DNA. It does not mean that we then took this gun and killed somebody. You got to connect the bullet. You got to connect the person. You got to conduct these tests to make sure they fired a weapon. They're doing none of that. All they're doing is spending an offensive amount of money on PR for people to convince you that this is an open and shut case, and it's not even open.
Yeah, they really just trying to taint that jury pool too. Is this a jury trial? I believe so. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this might be a jury trial. They're really just trying to taint that jury pool.
It shouldn't even be open. Okay? I am just so stunned that they're doing this. I can't even believe how openly corrupt the feds are being. Please, guys, in your capacity, share this. Share that portion that they are bringing back. Make it viral, okay? The feds are so corrupt. Truly, I am like fed up, literally fed up. Yeah. Federal Bureau of Investigation, we have had enough, okay?
Yeah.
Now to finish some other things that I highlighted here, just so that you have this, as we're on page 22. They're basically asserting their amendments, like in a capital case, the state cannot, consistent with federal due process, the Fourth and the Eighth Amendments and separation of powers and principles declare that hearsay reports, you're just going to sit people, this is a show trial. You're going to sit people and we can't prod their narratives because you haven't actually given us the evidence. You're giving us summarized reports. They want theater. They want to put theater on the stand, and they are saying, we want science. We want scientific discovery, which we have been asking for, and we have been consistent in asking for this, which is what he attaches in the exhibits, is how many times they have asked for this information, how many people they have been in touch with saying we need this.
This reminds me of that doggone YNW Mellon case, and I ain't been back over there since. What happened? Before he got rid of his previous legal squad. I don't know what took him so long to get rid of Raven. Let her go. Raven Liberty. And whoever else some other boys he had. I'm like, let them go. The judge had told him that. Sir.
Information to go through. And they've done a very good job, by the way, I will say. This is a thorough case. Sometimes I read lawyers and it's like, ooh, this is a really bad lawyer they have. This is a job well done, actually. This is a job well done. It's very descriptive. It tells us on the bottom of 25, top of 25, that this is not our fault. We did not contribute to the delay resulting in the request. You can see through the pages we have been diligently processing and reviewing all of this discovery that has been received in this case. We have made efforts from the outset to procure not only the reports from forensic testing, but also the underlying materials that are needed for expert review. And we have communicated verbally and in writing our concerns regarding these materials over the last several months. The delay here does not fall on our feet. Okay, we have no reason, we have no understanding as to why we were not given the autopsy report, the summary, until November, and then given the photos and the complete report package to be able to give to somebody else until March. That makes no sense outside of a despicable strategy from the state here. And then it says, where the evidence that has not yet been produced is both highly technical and scientific and is the basis for expert opinions that will be proffered only through reports deemed reliable. This is hearsay under Utah rule of evidence. You can't just give us summaries, and that's what they want. They want a show trial. And they are now asserting, in conclusion, unless the materials that we are requesting have been produced to us by April 17th, 2026, and if that does happen, then we can set a hearing, 6 months out. Otherwise, we want a hearing date to be completely vacated. We don't want to even talk about a hearing date right now. It doesn't even make sense, okay? We've got 600,000 documents to go through. We have not received our discovery requests. We are basically, they're playing a PR game, and we deserve to have an opportunity to understand how they received these communications. How did you're saying these are his texts, okay? You don't just send me a PDF of text. When I saw the text, I was like, are these dated?
Right. Yeah, that was the first thing
what
she
time did
said.
they come in?
That's
missing. What time did they come in? How did they pull this off of the server? Did you contact T-Mobile? How did you get this information?
AT&T.
You can't just send a PDF and then say we got them.
Right.
You can't just have Kash Patel throwing up 33s and say that's enough. You can't just have Governor Cox up there with the feds saying, oh, we got them.
33 hours.
Did you hear about the new trend called soap nails? All the beauty media are talking about it. Ultra shiny, natural, and healthy.
This is real. This is a court case. Tell us how you received these technological communications.
Right.
Otherwise, this is just show, and they called them out on that. And so I have to say, this was an extraordinary filing, and extraordinary in that it only further, to me, undermines the state's case. You don't have to play these games. If it is on your side, if truth is on your side, you do not need to play these games. If truth is on your side, you immediately give them everything they need without delay. And you say, okay, here you go. We should be able to make that deadline in May because we're giving you everything. Here's the autopsy. Here's this, here's that. Here's the prints that we said that we found, because your interest should be finding Charlie's true killer, not trying to stick it onto a patsy, which is what Tyler Robinson is. In my opinion, having investigated this case, having had communication with Turning Point USA with their former employees about the lies that they were told, with the way that they are behaving, with the way that they have edited their story, the panic because of the back footage, everything that they are doing is signaling to me that this is a Fed job from start to finish, just like JFK, just like with MLK. And I am entitled to that opinion unless they give us something concrete. And there is nothing, not a single shred of this case that they have delivered that has been concrete. They still have not demonstrated, even if the text messages are real to the defense. They can't even demonstrate that, or they have not demonstrated that yet. And I see no reason unless they aren't. We'll see. Anyway, I wanted to also tack on here that yesterday I had received an email that really touched me. It was the context of the email was there was a woman, and she was responding to the APB that I put out yesterday regarding Erica's flight on July 14th. It's a crucial date to me on my timeline because of Tuckergate on July 13th. I feel very much that between June and July 13th is when they made a decision to kill Charlie on the basis of the Iran war, and further on the basis of what Tucker Carlson said on stage, questioning Bibi Netanyahu, his network of people, the Epstein files, where people's money was coming from. And that flight she took with Catherine Locastro and Derek Niekirk and Jonathan Barcelo. And she wanted, the woman who's emailing me wanted to make me aware that a flight to Long Beach, I was wondering, what's this about? What's in Long Beach? And she made me aware that there's actually a joint Air Force base that's about 15 minutes from the airport. It was really the second part of the email that really touched me. She wrote this. She wrote, FYI, the Long Beach Airport is a quick 10 to 15 minute drive to a small military base in Los Alamitos. It is the Joint Forces Air Base. Oh, JTF, Fort Huachuca. It's not a very busy base, although it is secure. It also is not visible to heavy traffic, as the entrance to the base is located in a housing subdivision. It would be easy to move in and out of there without much notice from the public. The flight from Phoenix is just over an hour. She continued, it is common for U.S. government officials to fly in and out of that base when coming to Southern California and then driving to fundraising events, etc. The California National Guard also uses that base as well as fighter jets fly in and out when doing the annual air shows. She continues, not sure if this helps with the big picture or pertains to what you find out about July 14th, but I wanted to pass that along in case it is another piece of the puzzle. She then writes, Candace, I pray that you eventually find peace. It has been heartbreaking to see glimpses of your stages of grief as you produce your show. My heart does ache with you in your pain. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. You have really met Jesus in his suffering since September 2025. As this is so painful, how much more was his pain to die on a cross for the sins of this world? May you never forget that Sunday came and he triumphed over evil. In this world, you will have many trials, but take heart that I have overcome the world. God makes us in his image, and one of his attributes is justice. Some of us bear that image more than others. It is both a blessing and a burden. You mirror the image of his justice, but may you rest in knowing that God is in charge of ultimate justice. I was very touched by that, and I wanted to share that because I felt like as we are ending at the end here of Lent, just being reminded of that. Like, no matter what you're going through, no matter what suffering you're going through, and it has been a lot of suffering, and it has been a lot of hurt to go through. And it hurts every day to see the people that Charlie catapulted into the positions that they have today turn on him for money. Because that's what we're seeing. We know that's it. They turned on Charlie for money. And some days it felt really lonely. But then I realized that the whole world is actually rooting me on. They're rooting the truth on. They're rooting Tucker Carlson on and Megyn Kelly on when they told the truth about the Israel thing. They're seeing what they have gone through for simply telling the truth about how much Charlie was going through in the end. And but I think we all need to be reminded of that whatever you're going through, like his burden was greater, you know, not Charlie's obviously, but Jesus Christ, his burden was greater. And there is something beautiful about that, to think that we are enjoined in suffering with him, that we are made in God's image, and part of that, of course, is suffering. And she is correct that justice, like vengeance, belongs to the Lord, but truth, it belongs to all of us. And I just cannot overstate to you guys that the second that Charlie was killed, I knew that he was betrayed, and it could very well be that deep sense of knowing came from the fact that he had so carefully explained to me that he was going to die. But it also woke something up in me that had been dormant. And it's like,
They don't want you seeing this, but they can't hide it from you much longer. So first,
it's just a God mission. It's bigger than me. I can't let it go. I won't let it go. I don't care if people call me obsessed. I appreciate that they had a real hope that the world would turn the chapter on this, and I will not let it happen.
There's only one damn person in this world that will not let this shit go. And let me tell you something. We had our this is how we were with Candace before Brigitte. She would come on 4 o'clock. We'd be right there. I have her propped up somewhere. I got my headphones on. I ain't talking to nobody. I'm busting out laughing. I'm talking out loud with her. I'm talking about it was serious. Then Brigitte came. You know when Candace is talking about Brigitte, because you start to see these random YouTube shorts, these compilations of Brigitte here and there. And it was so interesting, to kind of see how things shifted once she started talking about Brigitte. Not because she had got up under Brigitte damn skin, but because now we in a different country. We talking about they first, whatever she is, lady, man, whatever, ma'am. Like, and so then we saw like a crazy wave of people. Cause like I said, when we was watching her, man, we be over there like 20, 30,000 deep, just chilling. Like we just be chilling. We were just chilling. Man, we got on to like 50, 60K live. Like, whoa. Slow the chat down. And then boom. We've been on this Charlie Kirk. We ain't talked about Brigitte. She'll get a snub every now and then. We let Donald Trump go. What a disappointment to the MAGA cult, because that was just disappointing. Everybody's just trying to find their way, because it's like, how dare he do this to us? We're the one that put him in office. What did y'all think? What did y'all expect the second round after how he was treated the first round? I'm telling you, man, listen, it was only destiny. It was only destiny, to be quite honest. That's the only way I can explain it. It was just destiny. To be able to have a friend like Candace Josh, 6 months, honey, we ain't let this go yet. We on a neck about that Charlie Kirk. Candace. Reputable, too. Reputable. So, you see what I mean? Like, it hit different when it comes from a reputable source. Like, she ain't on here just making up stuff. No, we definitely saw him get shot. So I don't care what Jesse over there talking about he faked his own death. I'm like, yeah, but you can't really fake that neck slant. You know, when shoot blue blue. Like, you can't fake that. So I appreciate it.
Because none of us are safe. If a person like Charlie Kirk, who lived his life very admirably, who worked hard, and who helped put the people who have betrayed him into positions of power, if he can be betrayed, assassinated in front of the world, and people can collude to lie about everything that he represented and what he was going through, then I feel like none of us are safe, right? And I like to believe that he was correct in his assessment that his death was going to contribute to something greater. In many ways, it already has. I think it already has. People, we are understanding real evil in a way that we needed to, remember.
I'm talking about, man, it just exposed everybody. And
to see, I guess, what the world of politics is capable of.
I said I'll leave it alone.
Trying to find comfort in that, I think. So I just wanted to share that because it made me feel happy and at peace in a way, like just being reminded of Christ's suffering. Anyways, beyond that, gosh, we're already at the hour mark. I don't know where the time goes. I do have an update for you guys on the Timpanogos staff at the hospital. And I saw Elizabeth Lane saying that talking about the other hospital and the strange lockdown. And I have maintained from the beginning that there was more evidence that Charlie was at Utah Valley initially, and then at some point got transported to Timpanogos. But we will have to wait until tomorrow because we are already up for an hour and I haven't even done comments. So we will take another quick break and I'll get to some of your comments. We'll be right back. All right, you guys, have you heard about this $17 million fraud scheme that targeted elderly homeowner Owens? Okay, so top comments from yesterday's episode. This was another really funny thing about Frank Turek and his very over-dramatized telling of what happened at the hospital. Like I said, they're all very bad actors, not even on the D list. Kim Haven wrote, as a nurse, I can absolutely say that doctors do not come out and announce, he's dead. He's dead. They pulled the next of kin in a separate room and talked to them privately. Frank Turek is absolutely a liar, she asserts. Now, another thing that my producer Ashley broke up was she was like, and then the next sentence he says is, he's dead. I need to talk to Erica. And Ashley sort of asked the question, this happened like 30 minutes after, like Charlie's being rushed to the hospital. Within 30 minutes, they tell us that he's declared dead. How did he know Erica was his wife's name? Like, there are so many questions that we have there. Like, I need to talk to Erica like they're on like a first name basis.
Don't forget that, what's his name? Jumped up on the curve. What he said his name was again? Whoever that was that had jumped up on the curve. Remember, he had announced him dead. When he was making his little selfie video over there on the ledge. And he had turned his camera on. He did. He's dead. I'm like, wait, what?
He is not from Utah. He does not know this man. Yes, it was a very, obviously a very big deal, but the surgeon was pretty busy, right? Because he's dealing actually with the body. So it is
interesting.
Sounds like he's kind of writing a Western, right? Which is kind of what it feels like. It feels like somebody is writing a script and they keep editing details and trying to fit things in. And now we've got, he's dead. He's dead. Right. He's gone. I need to speak to Erica. You're right. It did not feel true. Did not ring true. Chewing the Void writes, what kind of widow is afraid of a thorough investigation? I will leave that as a rhetorical question. Because I believe that we will inevitably receive a final answer on that. Comments from today's episode. Seven Sheets writes, Charlie calling you his David still gets me emotional, yet the ones around him are not interested in delving into these things. You speak for millions, and we all hope we have a David like you. Go Maxer in faith and prayer. Yes, I have started a novena, and it helps. Praying helps. Setting your intentions really does help. And I feel like, goodness is always on our side, but it just feels that they are just getting caught every single second of every day, and they can't get ahead, you know, and it is a we thing. Like, we all did this. Like I said, it has been a group project, and couldn't have done it without everybody, all of the YouTubers, the smaller YouTubers from Nisi, Baron Coleman.
Finally getting her damn name right. She kept saying Nisi, and I'm like, it's Nisi. Shout out to Nisi. She got her another shout out now.
Everybody just gave something, you know what I mean? And it's been really amazing and deeply appreciated. It's so many people that I could name, obviously.
She had just dropped another video Friday.
Natty Nicole writes, the defense needs to utilize Ian Carroll's AP web. Yes, they will organize the discovery files and analyze them in no time. Yes, Ian Carroll, who has been so good and meticulous about organizing everything. Everybody's playing a different role. It's been like an orchestra. It feels like we're out the gates, like I keep saying, and you can sense that in their panic and their misdirection and the sloppiness of their attacks and trying to distract us with crazy attacks, but we remain focused. Kevin Hunt writes, I threw up from Goyslop. Never again. Seriously, I do not recommend Goyslop. FedSlop, actually worse, I would say, and it's all over this case. Han Solo writes, I'm so curious how this investigation will end. Will anyone break at some point? How exactly do the Turning Point heads benefit? Will Andrew get fed up with Erica making him out to be a liar? Where does this all come to a close? No, because I think he has been willing to play that person. If
he's too deep.
What we sense is correct, and this is a massive cover-up, and Turning Point is complicit in that cover-up for various reasons, then they're all tied to each other. Right? Baron Coleman does a very good job of explaining that. There's like a line you can't cross, and you all have to collude together, and whoever's got to be the bad guy that day, it is whatever. You just got to say, okay, I'll catch the strays today because you go down, I go down. We're tied to each other.
Exactly.
Right? It's like we're all handcuffed together here. So it doesn't benefit one of them more than the other. Make him Andrew the Dunce and say, oh, he doesn't know what he was doing. I'm interested in why Lee Trotter, like I said, he could have probably had a good defamation case, saying something that's stupid, saying you violated HIPAA. I guess they didn't technically tweet that. She told me that, but that she had no part in it. And so that probably would have been her defense. Jay Lopez writes, my sister in Christ, Samia Zoom Out, for being such a great soul. She gifted me one of your I Told My Priest I Would Chill gear. I love it. And I love you, Candace. You're such a gifted soul. Blessings for eternity. I do love the Told My Priest I Would Chill. Great time to tell you guys about. The updated merch is on our website. It is the easiest way to support us. Go to CandaceOwens.com. Buy some merch. Buy some Shabbat Shalom merch. Buy yourself a hat. I forgot to ask George about the restock. I forgot. I got you tomorrow. I won't forget about the CIA restock of the Standis Cups. I got to get that coming for you. Otherwise, yeah, there's tons of stuff. You can also join the book club where we're getting a lot deeper on this Freemasonry stuff right now, as we are reading The Secret Founding of America by Nicholas Hager. And it's been illuminating for me. Like I said, I didn't know that Freemasonry began in France. So that has been very interesting. Other than that, I hope you appreciated this breakdown. Now you can go online and appreciate all of the people who are just shameless shills and lying to you about the filing and pretending that it's nothing, and actually it reveals to you the strategy of the state. So they're not going to get away with it. I keep telling you guys that. I have a deep sense of knowing they've made mistake after mistake after mistake, and if nothing else, every room that they walk into, they're going to feel suffocated because everyone will know. Everybody knows what they are and who they are. And that's almost the worst sentencing, if you think about it. Anyway, we will see you guys tomorrow.
Oh, man. I might as well go and get off myself. I do need to finish. Because I know Cole is about to get ready to wake up. In the meantime, in between time,